In this episode of An Engineer's Journey, I interview Carlene Chiang. She studied mechanical engineering at the University of California Irvine. Hello, my name is Connor Dixon, and I'm here with Carlene. She works at Elevate Seats, and you are a mechanical engineer that went to UCI. What inspired you to become an engineer, and when was there a specific moment in your life from that in either high school or your childhood that you wanted to be an engineer and you knew like, oh, that's my passion, that's what I want to go into?
Sure. I mean, when I was in maybe, I think, elementary school or middle school, my dad is an aerospace engineer. So he had worked on all the fighter jets at Northrop, the space shuttle with Lockheed and Rockwell, that he would bring home a lot of model airplanes, the model, space shuttles, the fighter jets, even the commercial, like the MD-11, MD-80. So when I saw that, that to me was what triggered my interest. Is that seemed fun? The product seems interesting. So that's how I got interested in it. So my dad.
What was your college experience like at UCI? And what was just the strengths and weaknesses you had in college going to school like that?
UCI in general was fun. Now I went to UCI many, many decades ago. So I think my experience there was really good in terms of just the level of education I was getting from UCI, the relationship with just the other students. There was not a lot of girls back then. So in the mechanical engineering class, I only had 4 other females in the class of, I think it was about 70 to 90 specifically. So I think my experience was really good because, I think the environment you say was very good. It was local. I'm from OC, so I wasn't going too far, so it was very comfortable for me. I think it was a very different field for females. For my experience, it's just nice to break that kind of like that barrier. But it's overall been very positive. Again, the curriculum, but you also have to balance the extracurriculars at UCI too. So they did offer a lot of clubs and activities that I was a part of as well.
And would you change anything from college or careers and jobs yet, or do you like how your life and career has panned out?
How it panned out. I would not change anything. I think for me, I was very fortunate that my career trajectory, I started as a designer. So as a design engineer doing drafting, I don't think I would ever change just getting that exposure. Now, and just because you're major in engineering doesn't mean you'll have that career in engineering, right? So they don't realize that there are other opportunities. So 7 years I was always in engineering. I started as engineering, but then I was fortunate enough that I think my management saw that I had other potential other than technical to go into more of the program management side. So it's more of the organization, the coordination, more of the, not really management, it's just really the planning side of new programs and things like that. So I think I would never change that because if they had made that decision for me, they offered it to me, I said, sure, why not? And that's how I kind of took that distraction, let's just say. And then for the last, I'd say 30 years, that's how my trajectory has been. I would not change a thing because my background in engineering is good enough for me to be dangerous, but I don't think I ever would have gotten too far technically, like become like a specialist in any field. Now, who knows what would have happened, but I think it worked out for me.
And you technically are an engineer right now, but what does your daily life look like? And do you still use engineering tools and strategies, or is it are you fully into the program management now and there's way less or no engineering in your job
So
right now?
program management, you have cross-functional oversight, meaning you have technical, you have operational, you have the business, it's really encompassing everything. The fact that I really do like program managers to have a technical foundation with an engineering degree is because you do understand the lingo and the requirements of a product that you're certifying. So for me, it's always good. I'm always involved because that is where my career kind of started. So whenever there's technical or engineering design discussions, I'm always part of it because for me, it really enhances my position and my decision making in general.
And what has been one problem that you faced throughout college and career and your jobs that
Mm-hmm.
is stuck with you the whole time, or one that's been
Uh-huh.
in different jobs that pops up often?
A problem. I think not really of any problems per se. I mean, I never had the personality. There's different characteristics between engineer and a program manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, I've always been very introverted as an engineer, but being in a different role kind of broke that barrier for me to, hey, look, I need to be a little bit more outspoken and a little bit more extroverted because your relationship with the customer, your internal team really relies on you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think in terms of problem is not so much a problem, but just breaking that mold of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still today, after 30, almost 35 years, still trying to kind of push my limits on how far I can go in terms of enhancing my character and my
Mm-hmm.
approach to my job.
And what is some advice you'd give students that are trying to get into a top engineering college, or advice to student in
Mm.
college trying to get an internship or a job?
Okay. I mean, because my son kind of went through that over a year ago, but more on the pre med, not engineering side, it's really your interest has to go along with your planned degree, right? So if you're interested in engineering, look at some of the extracurriculars that you have in engineering, like robotics, any of the engineering associations, societies, things like that. You
Mm-hmm.
should really be a part of. Any community you're a part of outside of school that you can write on and they can see you're passionate about is so essential in your essays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the school wants to know who you are, and the only way they could tell other than GPA, SAT, ACT scores is your extracurricular and the tone of your essays.
Mm-hmm.
The tone of your essays can really, if you can really kind of share what your passion projects are, how you kind of kept the depth of that passion project related to engineering, that's the way to go. That's what the schools are really looking for.
Mm-hmm. And what should a student look for in a good engineering school?
Mm. It depends because there are a lot of schools that are smaller, like Harvey Mudd is a very small, but it's more of a liberal arts, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a really good engineering school versus Caltech, MIT, they're well known, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on your faculty student ratio, how large the campus is, and what is it that the school is really known for in the engineering field. Have they published anything that's along the lines of your interest? What do they have developed? What resources they can offer you? That's the thing you really need to look at for engineering school.
Mm.
Okay.
And how is your current company here at Elevated Seats going to change in the next 10 to 20 years with advancements in manufacturing and robotics and AI?
Elevate Seats is the first class lie flat seat is relatively new in the industry and it's becoming more and more popular. Even the regulatory authorities don't really know how to manage it yet. So the requirements are still being worked on, right? So this product not only is a static product, it's a dynamic product because you have to deal with passenger safety,
Mm-hmm.
there's things like that. So I think in 10 years, definitely the more of the requirements will be definitely more steady and stable. So it can secure the requirements and the design aspects of the product. In terms of robotics, our seats in Germany, they already have a slightly a bit of function of the robotics side because of the repeatability and also because it comes from the automotive side of the seats. Okay, so automotive industry is all about automated robotics because of the volume.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the volume, but we have the technology on the seats themselves.
Mm-hmm.
For here, the product is composites, right? Composites, plastics. There's not really much intricacy to it in terms of the manufacture. We're already as optimized as it can be, but more on the customization side, how do we manage the changes to the product to streamline and make things faster? So that's what we can do in the next 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm. And what is something that that people that aren't in engineering or don't know about engineering? What is something that you think personally is super exciting and interesting that people in engineering don't know much about or know anything about?
I think in the engineering field, they think of engineers as very two-dimensional, right? You build and design product in 3D, right? But once it comes into life, in the day-to-day world, everything you touch, you feel, you sit, you experience, is coming from an engineering industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
The materials made out of the shape that it's formed in, right? So for us, for the aerospace industry, it's every day in terms of the aircraft, related to the aircraft, right? So passenger experience is really key. That comes from engineering, right? So if passenger's happy, the airline's happy, how everything works together, that experience kind of full circle comes back to your design, right? On the space side, now it's all about space and even electric vehicle industry. That's exciting. That you see every day, and it's going to change the world. Because in terms of just the future, that's where the SpaceX, Rivian, these kind of companies, they're already looking at like 10, 20 years from now, what the automotive and the space industry is going to look like. That's going to be really exciting. So, I mean, in terms of non-engineering technical, every day when you look at the news, it has an engineering facet to it, right? So.
And what do you think you would be doing right now or would you add any extra hobbies to your life, or would your career be if you weren't an engineer or didn't work here at Elevated Seats? What do you think you would do?
Good question. I became an engineer really to follow my dad's footprints, right? And it really is, a part of it is to make him proud, because kids always want to make their parents proud. A part of it was really interest in the product, right? I never really got to see the product go into operation, let's just say, until I got into the field. For me, I've always thought of like pre-med. So biology would have been, if I didn't go into engineering, it would have been into ophthalmology. So that was something I was interested in. But I don't think I would ever change anything. But if I didn't go into engineering, that's definitely what it would be. Interest, I'm at a stage in my career I'm ready to retire if I could. But really, it's more if I can balance it to do something totally different and opposite to engineering, meaning just something more just to enhance the work-life balance. It could be something like even like flowers or baking or owning a restaurant would be the other side of the spectrum for me.
And what has been a more, say, entertaining, and which job you like more, being an engineer and designing stuff, or being the program manager that you are now?
Entertaining wise, program management really has a lot more to offer for you, like visibility wise, where the direction of the business is going to, what the customer thinks. You're the first person in line to hear all that. Engineering, I think day to day, you're so focused on the technical aspects. That's only a portion of the business, so you don't really see a lot of that. I would say program management has more opportunities. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Carlene. That'll be it. If you like this episode of An Engineer's Journey, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment if I should do season 2, and comment any additional questions you'd like me to ask. That'll be all. Bye-bye.